The hierarchy of controls is a method of identifying and ranking safeguards to protect workers from hazards. Rank from most effective to least effective. Press on each box to learn more. Like my granny used to say, the best accident is one that never happened. Elimination is the first level in the hierarchy of controls and is considered the most effective way to control a hazard. It involves completely removing the hazard from the workplace, which prevents any potential harm or injury from happening. Make sure no wires or cords are exposed or are a tripping hazard. Removing the hazard from the location or task is the best way to eliminate a workplace incident. Make sure all spills are cleaned and dry. Remember, safety first. Substitution is the second level of action in the hierarchy of controls. It involves replacing a hazardous substance or piece of equipment with a less hazardous one. The goal is to reduce risk by using less hazardous methods, materials, or processes.
Hi, I would like the grilled shrimp without pesto. I have a peanut allergy.
No problem, sir. I will make sure the chef makes the substitution.
Before substituting, always make sure what you are substituting with is the safer product. Please check the SDS to confirm. The safety data sheets are located with your supervisor. Some examples of substitution are replacing solvent-based paints with water-based alternatives, substituting dangerous chemicals for less dangerous chemicals, using a larger granule form of a product instead of a fine powder to reduce dust generation, implementing automatic handling of materials rather than manual, replacing latex gloves with non-latex gloves, exchanging ingredient in food to protect an allergy. Reduce or prevent hazards from coming into contact with workers through physical controls, such as mechanical devices, protective barriers, ventilation, or modifying equipment or the workspace. It is important to protect yourself from coming into contact with a hazard. However, the protection from the hazard cannot impede properly completing the task. Improvements on existing tools and equipment happen all the time. Make sure you always have access to the safest equipment available. Engineering controls technology has changed over time, becoming more efficient, smarter, and transformative. These changes have made complex operations more accessible and understandable and have ushered in an era of automation, machine learning, and interconnected intelligence. Administrative controls are work procedures or methods that reduce the risk of exposure to hazards. This category of control relies on worker compliance and does not offer permanent solutions to controlling hazards in a workplace. Something so simple as scheduling can be used as an administrative control to reduce the amount of time that a worker is exposed to a hazard. Administrative controls can include training, like the one you are taking today, policies, procedures, or shift designs that change people's behavior instead of removing the hazard or providing protective equipment. Administrative controls gives visual warnings. Standard Operating Procedure Manual. Ask your supervisor for the location of the SOP. The SOP will give you detailed instructions on every procedure and piece of equipment. Safety data sheets. Usually kept with the SOPs, the SDS binder will provide all the necessary information on the product or tool you are using, as well as what you should do in an emergency. Personal protection equipment. What is it? Personal protective equipment is basically anything that can properly protect you from injury or pathogens, such as gloves, protective eyewear, face shield, lab coat, hard hat, mask, proper footwear. Personal protective equipment, PPE, refers to protective clothing, helmets, gloves, face shields, goggles, face masks, and/or respirators or other equipment designed to protect the wearer from injury or the spread of infection or illness. PPE is commonly used in healthcare settings such as hospitals, doctors' offices, and clinical labs. When used properly, PPE acts as a barrier between infectious materials such as viral and bacterial contaminants and your skin, mouth, nose, or eyes, mucous membranes. The barrier has the potential to block transmission of contaminants from blood, body fluids, or respiratory secretions. PPE is also worn around a job site like a reflective vest, hard hat, or protective boots and gloves.